After unifying his kingdom, Philip II of Macedonia conquered the regions of Thessaly and Thrace, where the Oracle of Delphi was located, and then attacked the Chalcidic Peninsula, destroying the city of Stagira, which he later rebuilt in gratitude for Aristotle's services as tutor to his son. However, he prohibited passage through the Xerxes Canal, which separates the Chalcidic Peninsula from the small peninsula of Acte, where the dominions of the immortal giant Athos began. By defeating the armies of Thebes and Athens at the Battle of Chaeronea, the first action of young Alexander, who at 18 commanded 1,800 cavalry, Philip became the de facto hegemon of all Greece. After the victory, the Macedonian king demonstrated great political wisdom by not humiliating the defeated and by forming the League of Corinth. The League guaranteed general peace and a perpetual alliance under Philip's command. After these military and political maneuvers, Philip took charge of organizing a powerful army to march on Asia Minor. While these preparations were underway, Philip was assassinated. Philip's death during his wedding at the hands of a bodyguard, apparently in the pay of the eunuch Bagoas, the Persian vizier, who was suspected of poisoning two of his kings, although the Witch of Olympia also seems to have been involved. This accelerated the preparations of Breezy and his collaborators, who together with the mortal Alexander, attempted to destroy the extremely dangerous giant Athos. In utmost secrecy, the divine Hephaestus was requested by Breezy for a meeting with Prometheus and the Cyclopes in the divine forges located in the Troodos Mountains in Cyprus Island. The goal was to redesign and manufacture a 7-meter sarissa that could be segmented and was as resistant as possible. With Philip's weapon, Hephaestus and Cyclopes built. With the construction of the innovative pike underway, Breezy and Prometheus went to the Acte Peninsula to design on-site the plan that would lead to the fall of the immortal giant Athos. The marvelous dropperflies wanted to help and were present at some preparations and meetings, but Breezy strictly forbade them from getting involved in such a dangerous situation. Macedon's weakness sparked Greek revolt against the new king. This was also how the Persians and the powerful vizier Bagoas interpreted it. Alexander responded by demonstrating his military prowess. He subdued Thessaly, destroyed Thebes, and forced Athens to recognize his supremacy by naming himself hegemon, like his father, which placed all of Greece under Macedonian rule. The time had come to fulfill his promise to Breezy before setting out to conquer the Achaemenid Empire. Alexander marched with his powerful army, and before crossing the Hellespont, they camped in Stagira, the city of his teacher Aristotle, who was waiting for him along with Breezy and his group to begin the dangerous plan. Alexander, guided by Cyprus, crossed the canal at dawn. He had to reach the lair of the giant Athos by his own means. Alexander donned mouflon suit, baffling the giant's nose, which the Cyclops had tailored to his size. Hanging around his neck was a small vial of the Lernaean Hydra's blood, all a gift from Breezy from his collection at the Palace of Thrace. Alexander, like a cat, moved, watched by gods. The cat had to transform into the tigress to scare away snakes and other dangerous animals lurking. Alexander laughed at how practical the blue-tailed cat was in her timely transformation, although he too kept his sharp dagger handy for any eventuality. They crossed almost the entire peninsula and reached the stable of the fine horses bred by the giant Athos. In that meadow, Alexander had the rare privilege of admiring the beautiful animals galloping freely, as no one would have dared to approach. Then they began to climb the sacred mountain, where Athos was putting the finishing touches on the macabre temple built with human skulls in honor of Ares. After an exhausting ascent, they arrived at a small cave with a strategic view of the giant's lair, chosen in advance. In addition to water and food, there was the segmented sarissa, its impressive tip capable of piercing the toughest leather. Alexander removed his disguise and shared the meal with the metamorphic cat Cypress. Then he armed the powerful sarissa and lay back to wait for the moment of action. After a long time, the giant appeared with a large skewer of fish. Athos sniffed the air and wondered aloud if it was possible that a human being was around. Alexander gulped, but without losing sight of the dangerous giant's wanderings who went about his domestic chores. Meanwhile, Breezy and Prometheus, who was carrying his enchanted labries, were camping in a cave on the opposite side, from where they saw Alexander arrive in his perfect mufflon disguise, preceded by the cat. Strong gusts of wind began to blow, alerting the solitary giant, who armed himself with an iron club that he wielded skillfully, delivering powerful blows to the winds. The wind gods increased their intensity, surrounding the sacred mountain, with the aim of preventing the giant Athos from leaving his lair and entering the sea, where he could turn into a tidal wave and ruin the entire plan. This was the moment when Prometheus, emerging from his hiding place with a labrys in hand, engaged the enraged giant in battle. The Macedonian removed the small flask hanging from his neck and, very carefully, but without trembling, anointed the sharp point of the sarissa with the blood of the Lernaean hydra. Khepri, beetle-like, watched as titans clashed nearby. When the mighty giant was careless, Prometheus cut the chain from which his Gorgonian, a gift from his evil mother, hung, sending it tumbling across the arid ground. Breezy took advantage of the moment to leave his cave, pick up the heavy amulet, and roll it toward Alexander's hiding place with Cypress, the cat now transformed into a tigress and eager to attack. Alexander, seized with a calm heart, begged for patience. The giant Athos made some efforts to retrieve his protective amulet, but Prometheus attacked him again and again, giving Breezy time to carry the heavy talisman back to the cave. The battle continued for endless minutes. The skilled opponents deployed all sorts of maneuvers to achieve victory, and it was the deadly giant who delivered a powerful blow to Prometheus, who collapsed, rolling down the hill until he lay motionless on the ground. The giant Athos raised his club in victory, threatening the winds, confident in his power after defeating the opponent who had defeated and humiliated him during the Olympic Games. He set out to retrieve his precious amulet, cursing the meddling Breezy, whom he had seen dragging him into a small cave. The giant bent down to peer into the hollow, savoring the anticipated pleasure of recovering the Gorgonian and finishing off the awkward girl. That was the moment when several voices shouted in unison, "Now, Alexander!" Alexander emerged from his hiding place, clutching the sturdy sarissa with both hands, and accurately pierced one of the giant's eyes, injecting him with the blood of the Lernaean hydra. The immortal giant swung out with a piercing shriek, then collapsed, destroying part of the temple of Ares. His cursed blood, inherited from his mother, the Gorgon Stheno, mixed with the blood of the Lernaean hydra, petrifying him, turning the giant to stone. In the sky, lightning and thunder cracked, as if Zeus had given his approval, and a light rain began to fall. The Olympian gods, for the most part, approved the actions of Breezy and the protectors of the magical dropper, along with the mortal Alexander. Poseidon, god of the sea and father of the giant, accepted the decision of his powerful brother, the king of the gods, although he was very annoyed at not knowing what had been plotted.